It's no secret that even to this day the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are still, by a considerable margin, the most popular Rangers of all time, and more than likely always will be. It's always exciting when we get a return cameo or appearance from these legendary Rangers in the modern shows. But how many more times can they do this? I thought today I would look into the canonical storylines of the original team to see which of them still have access to their powers and would be able to make a full return. Let's get into it. Before we get too far into it, guys, I'm really happy to announce for the first time that I have launched a brand new channel, the Batcave, a Batman lore channel. The style of content will be very similar to what you get here, but of course centered around Batman and the characters from that universe. I'll be covering lots of stuff from the comics, the upcoming Matt Reeves movie, Batman the animated series, the games, and way more. As of making this video, that channel has 20 subscribers. I'm hoping with the help of the 6th Rangers, aka you guys, we will get up to over 500. So if you don't mind, please go over there and show some support. It will mean a lot to me. Thank you all so much. So let's start with the most obvious, and to many the most legendary Ranger of all time, Tommy Oliver. Tommy started off as the Green Ranger, the first ever 6th Ranger in the Power Rangers universe. Then he went on to be the upgraded White Ranger, then Zeo Red, Turbo Red, and finally Dino Thunder Black. With a history of so many different power sets, he is bound to be able to still morph into something. But this video is about the Mighty Morphin powers, so only green and white will count here. Well, most of you viewers will of course already know that in Tommy Oliver's most recent Power Rangers appearance, he had access to a Master Morpher. A morpher that allowed him to access all of these powers at once. Meaning yes, he could still appear as either the green or white Mighty Morphin Rangers. Although, if you have read the Soul of the Dragon comic book, you will know that the morpher was eventually made pretty much redundant. But seeing as that didn't happen in the show itself, we won't count it for now. I would say that the show writers wouldn't count it and would just bring him back if the chance arose. If you want to know any more about the Master Morpher or the Soul of the Dragon comic book, I have full videos on them that you can check out if you want. Now, what about Kimberly, the original Pink Ranger? Well, we all know that in Season 3 of Mighty Morphin, she gives up on being a ranger to pursue a career in gymnastics. She picks Catherine Hillard as her replacement. She then appears in the Turbo movie, but without any powers. This was her last appearance in the canonical universe. The Power Rangers wiki will tell you that she reappeared in Super Megaforce and Beast Morphers with the rest of the original team, but this doesn't really make any sense to me. Catherine was the more recent Pink Ranger, and Kim didn't have any powers when she last appeared, so surely the Pink Ranger that appeared in these seasons was Catherine, and not Kimberly. However, the Zeo team did also make an appearance in the Super Megaforce battle, so it gets a little confusing, but I feel this was more likely down to the fact that they were using Japanese footage than it was about plot. So to conclude, I don't think that Kim still has access to her powers, or has an ability to morph. Next up we have Zach Taylor. Zach was one of the original 3 Rangers to leave the show, along with Trini Kwan and Jason Lee Scott. His current whereabouts following his return from the Peace Conference is currently unknown. As he has never returned to being a Ranger before the legendary battle, it's assumed that he returned to a normal life. However, as all 3 of the Rangers that left were seen still in a morphed state after they transferred their powers to the newer Rangers, it can be assumed that he still has access to them as he leaves the command center with a morpher on his belt. I'm not sure why Zach has never returned in a future season, probably down to contract negotiations, etc. I would assume that the actor would be up for it as he's still very active in the Ranger community, attending conventions and things like that, so maybe there is still a chance we will see him in a future episode with his powers. Next we have Trini Kwan. This will be a short one as her story is pretty much identical to Zach's. She left in the exact same manner and hasn't appeared since. Of course, the absolutely tragic death of the actress will have put an end to her reappearing anyway, but chances are she also would have had access to her powers as she left the command center with the morpher still in her possession as well. Now what about Billy Cranston? Billy's path was rather different to the other Rangers. When the Power Coins and Ninja Coins were destroyed, and the Rangers became the Zeo Rangers, Billy became more of an advisor and supporter. He was last seen to be suffering from an accelerated aging because the regenerator he used to restore his proper age had a side effect. To counter this, he travelled to Aquitar for a cure from the Eternal Falls. He then adopted to remain there with Cestria, a female Aquitian with whom he had fallen in love. Similar to other Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger was also shown to appear during the legendary battle in Super Megaforce, and was back in Beast Morphers. As Billy was the only person to ever be the Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger, chances are that it was actually him. Once the teams departed, Billy went back to his own dimension, and even though it's not officially stated, he probably returned to Aquitar. It's not in any way clear how Billy was able to morph in this episode, as canonically he shouldn't have access to any powers, but somehow he did. So Billy should be able to make a future appearance once more, hopefully this time with David Yost appearing. Finally, we have Jason Lee Scott. Now Jason left the team at the same time as Zach and Trini, again with his morpher intact. But Jason reappeared in the following season as the Zeo Gold Ranger. After his time as that, he was inactive as a Ranger for a number of years, until Power Rangers Wild Force, where he was called upon by Tommy Oliver to take part in the Forever Red mission. Jason displayed his lasting acrobatic and karate skills, demonstrated he still had the power within him. When all 10 Red Rangers were lined up, Jason led them into their respective morphing sequences, himself morphing into the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger once again. After this, there was of course the Super Megaforce battle and the Beast Morpher's appearance, in which he was the only Mighty Morphin member to appear without the helmet on, so we know for a fact that it was Jason and not Rocky. He finishes this episode with his powers still in place, so Jason also has the capacity to return in a future episode. It's probably also worth mentioning that Jason Lee Scott, Zach Taylor and Trini Kwan all become the Omega Rangers in the Boom Studios comic books. This was actually a way of explaining why the three of them left to go on the Peace Conference instead of staying as Rangers, which obviously seems like a strange idea. The comics tell us that the Peace Conference was actually all just a ruse to get these three to become, let's say, more important Power Rangers, ones that are dealing with the bigger threats, the threats in space, the ones that are threatening the entire universe, rather than just the Earth or Angel Grove. I'm not going to go into too much detail about those three stories, as we do have a full video on the Omega Rangers as well, so you can check that out if you want to learn more. So that's it for today, my friends, all 6 of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and where they are at now. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to see more videos similar to this one on other Ranger teams, let me know in the comments down below. Please don't forget to go and check out the Batcave channel as well. Subscribe if you can, it will really help me out. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. May the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.